Good morning. Morning back there. Welcome to another beautiful morning at Unity of Tustin and our meditation garden service. It's so lovely to see you all here today, truly. So I am Lisa Colabar, and some of you may have noticed that we had a little bit of a board reorg this week. And so I am very honored and proud to be your board president. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it and look forward to meeting some of these new faces out here that I'm seeing as well. So I'm honored to be your board president, but honestly, I am particularly humbled to be working with all of you. We have such really a tremendous, hardworking board. We have a staff that works just tirelessly to deliver and try to meet everyone's needs. We have a spiritual ministry team between Reverend Blair and Craig and Shara that is just so wise and so steeped in knowledge and such amazing presenters. Really, they are second to none. And then there's all of you, our volunteers, all the committees, all of the work that you all do. It's an honor. It really is just, you're all such a blessing to the community, such a blessing to me. And so I thank you all for being here. I do want to take a moment to recognize our outgoing board president, Jim DeFontis. As you know, talk about somebody who worked tirelessly. He worked tirelessly. He put in a lot of hours over the last year and a half. Not only the time, but the brilliance, his mind, his leadership. We really couldn't have asked for more from him. He was instrumental in bringing us through COVID, in helping us build a new vision for the church, and really to putting us on a secure footing so that we could be ready to prosper. And we are. And we're not skipping a beat. We had a board meeting this week. It was great. We reviewed our maintenance list. We got Connie looking at signs. We had an amazing meeting yesterday, the board and the spiritual ministry team and like all of us Saturday morning talking about vision and how do we start, moving further in that direction. And so we're not skipping a beat. I want you all to know we're in good hands collectively with all of us. And so I'm looking forward to our future. It is bright indeed. So I know that many of you are going to want to find a way to honor Jim. We do as well. We have been kind of discussing some ideas around that. And I think by next week, probably we'll have some suggestions to bring forward. But if any of you have suggestions, please bring them to myself. All the board, all the staff, everyone is here today. So if you have any questions, just find one of us. We're all open books. Come and find us. Come and talk to us. Share your thoughts. Share your suggestions. So with that, we have an amazing program today. We really do. We have something we haven't had in a long time. So we have, of course, our very own Carol Roman here with us today. And we also have part of our choir back in our quartet. Wait until you hear this, you guys. We've got Margie, Todd, Connie, and Jean-Claude. I heard them practicing. It is beautiful. We cannot wait. So thank you, you guys. From our spiritual ministry team, we have our very wise and wonderful Shara Moscinska with us. And she will be talking, I Know Who I Am. Right? Always a great topic. So I wanted to just, as we've been doing, have a moment of gratitude. And this week, we really want to have a moment of gratitude for all of the ushers who have served us these past few months as we've been able to return to things like handing out bulletins and collecting the offering and welcoming newcomers. So if you are an usher, can you please stand so we can recognize you? Beautiful. Thank you so much. It's such an important role to be here for people when they walk onto campus. And speaking of that, so we talked about I talked a little bit about the importance of all of you. You are all the people who make this church what it is. And the committees and the ideas that you have and what you decide to spearhead is really the foundation of who we are. And we are blessed because Miss Kathy Corner has decided to spearhead a new ministry called the Usher Ministry. And if you know anything about Kathy, she's so energized and enthusiastic about it. It is going to be a lot of fun. So this is an opportunity to serve each person who enters our sacred grounds each week. She's going to explain all of her ideas and what's in store for that. Anyone who is interested in being a part of that, which is really a great way to get to know people and to be of service, she's going to hold a orientation from 12:15 today to 12:45 in the sanctuary. So it'll just be a short half hour, but you'll get to hear her vision and have a chat about it and see if it's something you might want to get involved in. So please join Kathy if you can in the sanctuary at 12:15. Toys for Tots. We are going to be a drop-off site this year. So each Sunday through December 12th, you can bring a new unwrapped toy, any age range, for any child. Also, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, 10 to 5. The office is open. You can drop your gifts off there as well, or during those times as well. Adventure in Faith. Has everybody really been enjoying Adventure in Faith this year? It's been great, hasn't it? I know I really have. So we're going to have kind of a wrap-up and a grand finale next weekend with John Selby. There will be a virtual Q&A. It's going to be, like I said, November 14th, next Sunday, 1 o'clock to 2:15, here and on Zoom. You can participate either way. And John's going to be available to answer questions from our community and share kind of his inspired wisdom with his own mystical or from his own mystical heart. So we look forward. It's going to be, I think, a great wrap-up. And finally... I wanted to also let you know, John Selby's recorded meditations are also all on the website. So if you want to review any of that or start integrating them into your regular practice, they're all there for you. Some of you are going to like this. Some of you are not going to like this. We are strongly thinking of moving back into the sanctuary starting Thanksgiving weekend. We have winter coming. We got to one applause. Thank you for that. It's cooling off. It's going to get colder, and we feel like most people are vaccinated 2 or 3 times. The numbers in Orange County are really, really low. We would plan to keep the doors open. We would also plan to continue to have an outside area for those who just aren't comfortable going back into the sanctuary. But that is our thought for now, that starting Thanksgiving weekend, we would kind of move back in there for the winter months. So you can let us know how you feel about that as well. And then finally, this is our birthday Sunday. So I would like to ask everyone who has a November birthday to please stand. And join me in Happy New You. Happy birthday to you. Actually sing up here on November birthdays, right? Okay, quick reminder, prayer chaplains, Mr. Jack Ragland is here today to pray with you. Meet over by the garden for prayer. And now I am going to turn it over to our treasurer extraordinaire, Mr. Todd Bopel, for Surely the Presence.
Good morning. Beautiful, beautiful weather today, so let's sit back and get ready to start the service.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jack Ragland. I'm a prayer chaplain here at Unity of Tustin. This morning, it is my honor to open the service by first lighting the Christ candle, then reading the daily word. The Christ candle is a symbol of the Christ light that lives within each and every one of us as us. This Christ consciousness which we access, we use to spread the love of God throughout the world. The word for today is divine order. The affirmation, I live in harmony with divine order. The biblical verse which inspires this affirmation comes from the book of James, chapter 2, verse 22. You see that faith was active along with his works, and faith was brought to completion by his works. Life is in constant motion, even if that motion is imperceptible to me. When I feel stuck in place, I remember the orderly progression of the seasons. The single golden leaf I notice one day will become a part of a blaze of color in a few weeks. The brisk chill in the morning air will soon lead to biting cold of winter. The first tender seedlings of spring will bring bright blossoms and a verdant canopy, followed by the long, sultry days of summer. Little by little, one season turns into the next. My growth and understanding may happen in much the same way. Even if I don't notice changes day to day, my life is always in motion and in perfect order. I will repeat the affirmation for today twice. The first time, I will say it for you, and the second time, I ask you to join me in this wonderful affirmation. I live in harmony with divine order. Altogether, I live in harmony with divine order.
Thank you, Jack. The first song that I'm going to be playing is called In the Mirror. It's by Yanni. And it is what I think of as a musical meditation. So feel free to close your eyes and just enjoy the music.
Thank you, Carol Roman. Good morning, Unity of Tustin. Good morning, everyone online. Oh, let's just breathe in the beauty of that music. Its own prayer. Its own dance and meditation. We're so blessed today to have the Quartet joining us. And when I came out this morning, I welled up with tears, not just hearing them rehearse, but hearing them just warm up. It's this magic, and especially to see people we know and love produce such beauty. So let's take that in. Let's take that beauty, that music, and bring us present to this now moment and the peace that is there. Last week, we had the teaching based in Islam, which means peace. And allow that peace to enter you through the music, through the melody, and through the quieting of your own mind. And today, we realize that peace through the witness. So bring forward the witness that can both hold harmony and paradox in its own tensile strength, like a bead of quivering mercury. And allow yourself to be part of that non-duality from which comes no fear and all love. And we are grateful. We are grateful for knowing these spiritual truths, for walking and living them in a deeper way, and for the privilege to do this in and as community right now. Right now. And in that gratitude, we release this prayer into the heart of living love, and we pray this in the name and after the nature of our indwelling Christ presence. And it's in that gratitude and in that love and in that humility that we have the gift of hearing from Pam Wheeler today as she shares with us beautifully from her heart her adventure in faith journey. Welcome, Pam.
Good morning. I'll be looking down a lot because I'm nervous and reading. I'm Pam Wheeler, and I've been actively involved with the Unity of Tustin for the past 2 years. I'm here today to share with you why I became a member of this community and why that's so important to me. Before I share, I'd like to thank Mary Jean for offering me this opportunity, and Jean-Claude for holding my hand and listening and helping me with my adventure. Thank you, Jean-Claude. So our church calls this program Adventure in Faith, and I think that is just a great title. And it's a great title because an adventure implies that we're going to move along the way and we don't always know what we're going to experience, even though we have said yes to the journey. Well, that about sums up my adventure here. I timidly said yes to one thing, and now I embrace saying yes to do what is mine to do for our community. So first, a short bit about me and Unity Churches. I came to services here on and off for many years. I often walk the labyrinth, which is like my favorite form of listening to God. I've been a member of Unity Churches since I was 17 years old. I started in Minneapolis, and then I've moved several times in my life, and I'm now in California, and at each turn found a home at Unity, which was really lovely. But I wasn't really involved. Like, I went to church how I grew up learning to go to church, which was as a Methodist, which is, I don't even know what that was. We dressed up a lot, and we had a lot of mother-daughter teas. And so from Laguna de Gale to Phoenix to Minneapolis to Unity, you know, I came to church, I accepted what I needed to accept. Hey, kids! And then I left. And I thought that was church. Well, it was church. But I didn't understand that I had a part to play in a sense of community. So when I was 17 years old, I was admitted to the hospital in a lockdown unit for drug and alcohol abuse. And I was torn because I was having fun, but I was hurting myself. And secretly, I was really desperate to get help. So I said yes to help, and to tell you, and as by way of example, how desperate I felt, I had pretty close to front row seats to a Rolling Stones concert, which I did not go to. Instead, I allowed myself to walk into this treatment center, really not knowing, what that was all about, and it saved my life. And at that point is when I found Unity, because I got out of this treatment center, I was involved, and I threw myself into AA, into helping others. I helped start young people's AA. I volunteered at drug and alcohol treatments. And growing up, my mother made us give away 3 weeks of our summer. And of course, we always parked it at the end of our vacations, right? And we could do whatever we wanted, but it had to be for other people. So, as a little kid, I'm pulling dandelions in somebody's yard. I volunteered at a hospital, which I hated, although the outfit was really cute. And then I taught a blind man algebra. That was the most interesting thing I ever did, right? Because he can't see, and I'm holding his hand and moving his arm around this chalkboard. So doing for others was a way for me to stay off the alcohol and on all of it, the pot, the LSD, the speed. But I was pretty scared. And I was scared because when you're a young person and you do that to your body, bad things happen. I grew a tumor the size of an ovary, of a softball around my ovary. I couldn't eat very well. I had all kinds of stomach problems. And I kind of looked up and went, okay, it's time to grow up, and I need to figure out what to do. So, of course, I got medical help. And at that point, said, I need to start helping others. And while I was never able to have children, they've always been a big part of my life because the joy and the love that comes from that. During the time, I've been sober 46 years now, and I know, can you believe it? And what worked was helping others. When I looked up and went, this is really kind of not the life I hoped for. I'm a kid. I'm sitting in these AA meetings. People are telling me how they've ruined their lives, and I'm sitting here going, what's next for me, God? What's next for me? And I didn't really have a God in my life. I just knew this sort of vague kind of understanding. So it was kind of at this perfect moment that I was invited to Unity Church in Minneapolis. And I felt instantly accepted. It was a huge congregation. And, I didn't really have to do anything. I didn't really have to be anything. I didn't have to say anything. I just felt accepted. And I didn't really know what to do with all that, but they had this course in miracles. And I'm like, hey, if anybody needs that, I'm pretty sure it's me. So I'm going to take the course in miracles. And it's kind of really how the miracle started. I had no framework, for how to understand any of this. I couldn't even tell you what that was about, but it took a year, right? In a year, I carried this book. I still have it. I have little notes everywhere. And I don't know what I learned, but I knew that I was in a place where I was safe. And I knew that I was in a place where I was cherished, and that somewhere in all of that, right, I would learn about God, and I would learn about, a higher power. So that was the foundation of my life in Unity. So lastly, what I really wanted to share is how great it's been for me to become a Sunday school teacher. And the way that happened was when David Noe was here, he had a weekend workshop. And as part of that weekend workshop, the last thing we did, he asked us 12 questions. And the last question is, what can you do for Unity of Tustin? And this voice screamed at me. I'm telling you, screaming. And it said, be with the children. And I went, what? Be with the children. So we shared in our group what we had learned, and when our weekend ended, I have no idea who that someone is. I hope if they're here sometime or you're online, please reach out to me. Someone took me by the hand and walked me to Nevin, who was then the director of the Youth and Family Services. And I told her what I heard. And she just said, yeah, well, I've been waiting for you. Gave me a big hug, and off we went. So I went through did the background check, remember, I've been sober a long time. So the background check, like the clearance happened in like 2 hours, like nothing eventful's happened since that time. That's bad. And so I went through the training with her, and we had 4 weeks together with the children in person. And then we all went into lockdown. And I thought, oh man, this is going to be hard for me. I had just spent 5 years with a tech company as their marketing director, and everything was on GoToMeeting, except maybe a get-together once a month. And I was pretty sick of being online. And I thought, I just don't know if I can do this. I just don't know if I can spend any more time online. And then it turned out to be so much fun, didn't it? Like all the kids taught us. Like first we started, we would teach, and then, as the time went on, the kids got better at Zoom than we did. We played games. They came up with the whole program and shared with us. And so it was just a great, great thing for our congregation because we got to learn from them, things that kind of either we'd forgotten or maybe we just didn't know. So I really love that. What's really fun about this? I totally lost my middle page. Oh, wait, there it is. And I just keep talking, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so one of the things that I decided when I came back to Unity is that if someone asked for something, I would say yes, if I could do it. And that was the yes, to be with the children. And then Jean-Claude reached out as the head of our prayer chaplain program here at Unity and said he was seeking prayer chaplains, and he had an information center. Well, it was a center. We were like on the lawn, sitting 3 or 5 feet apart from each other during COVID, and he was telling us what the prayer chaplain program was all about. I really had no intention of joining whatsoever. I just wanted to be outside with some people from Unity of Tustin. But after listening to Jean-Claude, I said yes. And again, I don't know what I said yes to, but I'm safe, and it's God. So what do I have to lose here? So now I absolutely love being a prayer chaplain and holding others in prayer. I get to make monthly calls for people who've asked for prayers for themselves. And we hope that they feel blessed and valued as part of us. On the World Day of Prayer here at Unity of Tustin, the prayer chaplains gathered for the day, spent time out here praying, spent time in the sanctuary praying, and I can honestly tell you that other than sleeping, I have never been quiet for that length of time in my entire life. But it was quiet with a purpose. So it was really amazing. It was amazing to be able to find the spot inside of myself that is used to giving and wants to give, but needs new ways to give. And so that was really, really a wonderful day for all of us. And as well, part of the prayer chaplaincy, as you saw today, we read the daily word. Like the Christ candle, we also hold people in prayer if you have prayer requests. So please, send those forward. So in closing, being in service here at Unity really has given me more gifts than I have given Unity. We had a remembrance ceremony, which was one of the most amazing things I have ever experienced in my life. It was such a blessing to everybody in our community and so creative and so well done that I was just really proud to be part of it. And I'm a hospice volunteer, or I was prior to COVID. Will be again someday. And I was allowed to have a table like in the back with all kinds of literature on death and dying and books and how to survive the loss of a love. And then as a prayer chaplain, I also got to pray with people. So that was a great day for me, and I hope we get to do something like that again sometime. So now I have to read this part because I like this part. So Unity of Tustin is now my spiritual home. My soul found a place to jump on the bed with joy and get tangled up in the sheets of confusion. And sometimes I fall down in sadness and I get back up with excitement. I do not always understand what I am being taught. And then I do. And when I do understand, it's like another piece of my life's jigsaw puzzle fits perfectly into place. Right before COVID, my husband of many years and I separated. And it was not by my choice. So I've been kind of a mess also on that front. But part of this, of Unity being my home, is that I don't always understand what I'm being taught. But when I do, it's like this piece of my life falls into place. And what I've learned is I don't need to know what the puzzle looks like right now. It's not, I don't know. I don't have the box with like 17,000 pieces. I actually am not sure how many pieces are in this puzzle. It could be like those little kid ones, you know, like 50 pieces, or it could be 10,000. I don't know. And it's okay, because that's my adventure in faith, is that I'm trusting God that it will be okay. I don't have to wait for an invitation. I don't have to know what's next. I just have to trust in God and offer my gifts and relax, letting myself be at home here. Here, my heart found healing through love, and love in the form of sharing and listening to the children express God, and enjoying God's special gifts, like Carol Roman's music that feeds my soul. Thank you. And Nevin and Aaron's inspiring ways of teaching that bring me joy, and seeing my Sunday friends like Kathy and Pam and Lyde and Jim and Jean-Claude. And oh my gosh, see, I have Sunday friends that are friends outside of church, which has also been a great gift to me during this time. So I thank you for letting me share, and God bless you.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for such a beautiful gift. Grounded in love. That's exquisite. Absolutely exquisite. This is exquisite. We are exquisite. It's exquisite to be here. Such an honor, such a privilege. Many of you might know Father Greg Boyle. He spent over 30 years working with gang members in LA. And he has a very well-known TED Talk where he talks about one of the people he works with barging into his office and in a very urgent, sincere way said, "Father Greg, I've got something to talk to you about that's so important. I need your complete divided attention." Father Greg looks at his very busy desk and says, "Well, you're in luck." He could give divided attention that day. And today, we will be exploring the master teacher Gurdjieff, this mysterious Christian, Armenian-born, Russian acculturated, Sufi-inspired, unconventional spiritual teacher known for great feasts, unpredictable outbursts, and demanding spiritual studies in what is known as the work. And we are going to be introduced to his intentional practice of divided attention. Divided attention. Now, why divided attention? And we even see in the book John Selby, you can almost feel him shaking his head. You're like, aren't we done yet? You know, we seem to get to places of completion that would be a meditation program for a lifetime. We start by witnessing the breath. We move to quieting the mind, accepting the world as it is, loving ourselves as we are. And then last week, being open to receive God's healing touch, God's healing love, and to express that. What more do we need? We're home. We're home. But according to Gurdjieff, it was not enough to go around loving and being an open heart, receiving and expressing God. Rather, what's required is that we're aware of ourselves with an open heart, going around receiving and expressing God. This is the goal of the divided attention, a self-remembrance. And the journey of meditation and the journey of unfolding, it keeps going. It keeps going. We get to a part in our personal lives, we get to a part in our spiritual lives where we feel we have arrived. And it keeps going. Pam, if your puzzle had 5,000 pieces, once you were at 3,800, there would be a new room that opened up, which would have been more pieces and more pieces. We cannot be present at our destination if we're not present en route. That's a Gurdjieff teaching. We cannot be present at the destination if we're not present on the journey. There's no end to soul's growth. The path is the goal. The journey is the destination. And for Gurdjieff, that destination is to be renewed again and again in the present moment through a recollecting of our our self-remembrance through divided attention with each breath, moment by moment, or our connection is lost. So let's go into this teaching a little. Let's kind of find our way. What is dual attention? What is divided attention? What is this practice of self-remembering? So in its simplest form, is divided attention is simply holding your attention on an object, on a person outside of you, but then intentionally taking part of your awareness and at the same time regarding yourself in that awareness as the viewer. So it's perceiving and putting part of our attention towards ourselves as perceiver. It's a practice that takes intention. It has to overcome spiritual inertia. It does not happen organically. That's why it's called the work. It is a practice of becoming conscious in two directions at once. Being conscious of who is experiencing the flow, which is us, and then also what we are experiencing. So we're looking at observed experience and the observer, which is you, as the perceiver, the source of awareness itself. So we start getting to an experience of ourself as source, not just a receiving, but an experience. And in my meditations on this, the image that came was a projector. And the projector is outpicturing, and we are holding our attention on what is being outpictured. But at the same time, see yourself swimming in through the aperture where the light is, and referencing yourself as the source of the outpicturing at the same time. We can maybe you can touch into an evolution here. It even starts to change our relationship to spiritual teacher. Gurdjieff was an anti-guru. He put the paradigm of being a guru on his head. His best student, co-collaborator, he would put him through all of these trials, making it almost impossible to remain his student. So Penske would be going somewhere with Gurdjieff. Gurdjieff on a train would pretend he was drunk. He would start getting in brawls with people. He took a glass of wine and threw it in a woman's face. People would want to come and rough Gurdjieff up, and Upensky would say, no, you can't, he's a holy man. Creating these experiences to jostle us out of needing a teacher because we are identifying and perceiving ourselves as source. And then this goes further in Krishnamurti, who we'll be studying next week, who is the ultimate anti-guru. Changing that relationship as we uncover new rooms of our awareness, new rooms of our psyche, new rooms of ways of connecting to the divine. So it gives us a glimpse into that eternal question, who are you? It was said that Saint Francis, his prayer that he said again and again, day after day, he would turn to his sense of God and say, who are you and who am I? Who are you and who am I? And Gurdjieff would like this prayer because it's turning part of our attention outward and also part of our attention inward, holding both at the same time. And in Gurdjieff's understanding, you are a knower. You are the subject focusing your attention towards a particular object. You are the perceiver focusing your attention on which is being perceived. And the practice is to be aware of both at the same time through divided awareness. So this can seem deceptively simple. But the problem is it's something we don't do. It's something we only do with intention. It's only something we only do with work, with will, with effort, with efforting. This isn't something that happens organically. And it's also something that often is not cultivated in more traditional meditations. Much of traditional meditation is holding your mind full on with undivided attention. Your breath, for example, a mantra, your thoughts, your whole body presence, a sunset, a candle, music, nature. And sometimes when we do that, we might even have the experience of losing ourselves. Well, if Gurdjieff was our teacher, that would be the moment where he would come with the ruler and smack us at the back of our head. Because to Gurdjieff, losing ourselves is an indulgence. The point is continual self-remembering, again and again, moment after moment. So what is this relationship between divided attention and self-awareness? So early on in our adventures in faith, John Selby introduced us to this wonderful psychological hack where in order to quiet our mind, we are guided to focus on two things at the same time. So how I've been practicing this is I've been focusing on the breath, especially the physical sensations of the breath, and at the same time the soles of my feet. And it does. There's like a shift. It's almost as if our neural pathways cannot hold that and hold thoughts at the same time. It's been very effective. Now we're moving into doing that same psychological hack, but doing it by putting awareness on the known and the knower, the object and the subject, the perceived and the perceiver. And this practice does not just stop thoughts, but it is also the alchemical key for a new arising to occur. This practice quiets the mind, but it does something new. It does something else as well. So I thought the best way to feel into that would be to do a practice. To see what that something else is. And I invite you, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes or lower your gaze. But for a moment, focus your attention on your breathing experience. And at the same time, look inward with part of your attention. And by looking directly at your source of awareness, remember who you really are. Captured by that affirmation, I know who I am. Look with this divided attention and observe in action your own mind looking. And now expand your awareness to include both the observed and the observer at the same time. Expand your awareness to include both the observed and the observer at the same time. And while you are in that space, I will read words from the teacher Osho Rajneesh. All the techniques of meditation are to reveal the knower. Don't forget yourself and get lost in the object. Remember the subject, and then a miracle will happen. As you become aware of both the known and the knower, suddenly you become a third. See if you can feel that in your own experience. You become a witness. A witnessing self comes into being. The knower is your mind, and the known is the world. and you become a third point, a knower, a consciousness, a witnessing self. You can just bring yourself back to this moment. And I'm curious, did anyone feel that? Did anyone feel that in order to see both at the same time and expand your awareness, you had to become a witness? How many people had that experience? Yeah. So that's what I invite you to play with. And from Gurdjieff's experience, this is extraordinary. By holding the tension of divided awareness, you become a new arising. You are creating something from nothing. You are part of the mystery of Genesis itself. You are becoming a witness with the capacities of that witness, to witness your own life, to witness with the freedom, because now you don't have to be the mind because you can observe the mind. The witness of knowing that you are awake. That is Gurdjieff's definition of being awake. When we are in that space that is new and different and beyond the personal and attached to the eternal and attached to the consciousness of the universe that allows us to be conscious. I first learned teachings of Gurdjieff through Cynthia Bourgeault, who studied Gurdjieff's work for over 10 years. And she wrote this fabulous book about 8 years ago called The Holy Trinity and the Law of Three. And the Law of Three is exactly about this process. It provides us a key to participate in creation itself. On a simple level, you have three forces: an affirming force, a denying force, and a reconciling force, which creates something new for the first time. So the affirming force might be a seed. The denying force might be wet earth. And the reconciling force, this is something a little beyond our ability to control. And as we outgrow problems, we don't solve them, we outgrow them, this is that mysterious force. There's often something that could never be predicted or planned, but held within it a new arising that allowed for the reconciliation. So in this example, the reconciling force would be sunlight, and then you get something new. You get the sprout, you get the plant, you get the flower, you get the life force that is something completely new than the ingredients that created it. The same thing is happening in this Gurdjieffian process. We have the affirming force, which is our attention directed to an object. We have the denying force, which is turning part of that attention to us as receiver. The reconciling force is to see them both at the same time. And then that creates something brand new, which is the witness. Which is the witness, which has new capacities in it. That's part and one with non-duality, the greater consciousness, that act of the unmanifest becoming manifest. So Gurdjieff says that he asks nothing. He asks us to believe nothing that we cannot verify for ourselves. So part of this is in the practice, in the meditation that's online that we'll be hearing. And I've been practicing this and I've been playing with this. And I had an experience where I was very intentional about taking my meditative walk. In New Mexico, I live in the desert. I'm next to thousands of acres of public desert lands. And I often take walks. And on this walk, I was going to practice this Gurdjieffian divided attention. And as I'm getting to the trailhead, I just have this thought that in all my time in New Mexico, we've only come across a rattlesnake once. And that was when we first moved into our house, and my daughter was 18 months, and she was with Chris, and she jumps back, and in the lavender bush is an enormous rattlesnake. we've had bull snakes, we've had different snakes. I've heard people have rattlesnakes, but we haven't. And I had this thought, isn't that odd that I've never seen a rattlesnake? You know, and then I start my walk and I'm doing this divided attention. And perception is almost the same, but there might be a little more aliveness, a little more attuneness, maybe a sense of peeking in beyond the edges of reality. And every now and then I'd go back to thoughts and reflections, and I'd catch myself and I would go back to this dual awareness. And I'm coming back round onto the road after my walk, and at my feet is a dead baby rattlesnake. So I sat down next to the rattlesnake. I put it in a more dignified place. And I can't say that reflecting on that experiences have given me any more answers than questions. But what occurred to me is that there is this possibility of a participation with the unmanifest beyond what we have any idea. This is divine order. This is what we can trust and know and have faith in. And it happens. I'm sure it happens in your life. It certainly happens in my life. And we can potentiate it with intentionality. You know, when I reflect on the rattlesnake, it occurred to me that something, because it was a dead rattlesnake too, that something old must die in order for something new to be reborn. And this process can often be very difficult, and it can be very painful. And it's not that these experiences cause the experience. It's that they provide the medicine. They provide the faith so that we can get through these challenges, that we can face these challenges that lie ahead. And we can practice it with this beautiful Sufi teaching. And its beauty and its power comes that we have to apply it to all situations. And the teaching is only good will come of this. Only good will come of this. Cynthia Bourgeault's recent teachings have really been influenced more and more by Gurdjieff. And her most recent book, The Eye of the Heart, she paints for us this Gurdjieffian influenced, inspired, cosmic universe of complexity with different layers of density and rarefication, different ways of connection and movement, like a very complicated cosmic clock. And in this cosmology, our spiritual work is not at all for our own enlightenment. It is not at all for our own spiritual development. It is to be of service of this mysterious cosmos. It's to be of service and rarefy the dense energies, to bring them upward, and to receive the rarefied energies and put them into our three-dimensional world. In a sense, according to this way of seeing, we are no more than cosmic cogs in a spiritual wheel, but we are very important cogs, and we have the function of maintaining a harmonious movement in this wheel, this mysterious wheel of life. So with that, I would like you to listen just shortly to a part of John Selby's meditation on Gurdjieff. And it is available online. And the first part of the meditation, which we won't hear, is a beautiful recapitulation of this teaching. So really, I encourage you to listen to it again and again. It's so well done. And the second part, practice listening to the meditation while also focusing part of your attention on your own experience as listener and hold them both at the same time.
Stay aware of that sensation. At the same time, expand your awareness to include the sensations of movement in your chest and belly as you breathe. And allow your awareness to continue to expand to include the feelings in your heart right now. And continue expanding so that you are aware of your whole body at once, your whole being, here and conscious in the present moment. And say to yourself, I am breathing freely. My mind is quiet. I accept the world just as it is. And I love myself just as I am. And now you can begin to open yourself to even a deeper, greater expansion of your awareness as you open up to become receptive to the touch and the feel and the love and the insight and the power of God, of Allah, of the Creator, by any name, that infinite, creative, loving force that permeates this universe and yet only comes to you and influences your life when you open up and surrender and make this gesture we're learning in this fifth extremely important expansion of consciousness. Just say to yourself, my heart is open to receive. And you can then add to that sentence with whatever you need to receive today. In fact, the words will come spontaneously to mind. You can say, my heart is open to receive God's healing touch. Or perhaps my heart is open to receive insight. Or my heart is open to receive love and guidance. This is an act of faith, of spiritual trust. You let down all of your defenses. Your ego surrenders to the higher creative force of the universe and opens up so that, in fact, you do become one with God, and your thoughts and your actions and your emotions become permeated by this higher spiritual presence. This is the spiritual leap of faith that I encourage you to make every day, often, until, in fact, this expanded quality of spiritual awareness becomes your natural state of being. Just say it and allow it to happen. My heart is open to receive. As they say in Islam, Allah knows what you need. All you need to do is to surrender, open up, and receive. And so I will leave you for a few minutes or however long you want to continue your meditation today. My heart is open to receive.
While you are still in that space, just know all is in divine order. Even the fact that that was last week's meditation. So I will direct you to the website to hear this week's, but bring in that message too. Bring in that message, and let's continue with the message of this week, which is, I know who I am. I know who I am. I feel my connection to Source. And feel into that what emerges from this self-remembering is our I am consciousness. Our I am consciousness beyond the duality into Source. And we extend the grace of this I am unity consciousness to all of those on our prayer list here at Unity of Tustin and all of those in our minds and heart. It is in this third way, in this new arising, that we have solutions that could never be predicted or planned, but that hold the key to peace, to resolution, and to evolution. And we don't solve our problems, we outgrow them. And this is part of the practice that helps us grow into these new expanded fields of consciousness. So I hope this resonated with you. Sometimes I was like, oh, good grief, Gurdjieff. Not the easiest nut to crack. You kind of have to be invited into his groups and study for some 10 years. But it's such a beautiful unfolding and evolution. And the practice of self-remembering is accessible to us all and can show us yet another dimension of our participation with the wholeness. So now I need to start wrapping up, or I will have to somehow outgrow the wrath of Kathy Corner, who wants me to end on time so we can start our wonderful usher meeting, and then the salon will be after that at 12:45. Feel free to come even if we're in the middle of the usher meeting. You can hear the tail end, and then we'll get started with a little bit of a deeper dive into this material. So blessings to everybody. I'm so excited. We're going to have another treat from our quartet. Do remember that you know who you are and that you are connected to your Source, and the Christ in me beholds the Christ in you. Namaste.
Thank you, Shara. Before we come to the time of receiving our tithes and our love offerings, we'd like to welcome anyone who might be here for the very first time today. At Unity of Tustin, we acknowledge that there is one God, one heart, but many paths. So if you are new to our community today and would be willing to raise your hand, our ushers have a welcome packet for you. Is there anyone here for the very first time today? Keep your hand raised high so that our ushers can find you. You're a gift to us, and we're so glad that you're here. Inside your welcome packet, you'll find a name tag that you can put on. You can write your name on the tag so that we can connect with you after the service. And also inside your welcome packet, there's an information card. And if you'll fill that out, you can turn it in to the ushers after the service. And it gives us a chance to stay connected with you, to send you our weekly emails. And also, Shara reaches out to each person who turns in their welcome card and invites them into a conversation with her. So again, we welcome you. If you're new for the first time online, you can also send an email to unity@unitytustin.org, and we'd be happy to send you some welcome information as well. So as we do come to the time of receiving our tithes and our love offerings, we just want to express our gratitude for the many ways that you all contribute in your generosity, whether you give here in person, whether you give online, if you're a recurring gift giver, if you donate through our app. We also have our kiosk set up outside. And so whichever way and however that you give, we are in deep gratitude for that. So as we do hold our tithes and our love offerings together, let's say our love offering blessing. And it is in your bulletin if you are new. So together, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And as our ushers come by to pass the bags and receive your tithes and love offerings, our Voices of Unity Quartet and Carol Roman have another musical gift for us.
My life flows on in endless song. How can I keep from singing? No storm can shake my inmost calm. How can I keep from singing? How can I keep from singing?
What though the tempest around me roars? I know the truth it liveth. What though the darkness around me close? Songs in the night it giveth.
I hear the real though far off hymn that hails a new creation. It sounds an echo inside my soul above earth's lamentation. My life flows on in endless song. How can I keep from singing? No storm can shake my inmost calm. How can I keep from singing? How can I keep from singing? Oh, to the rock
I'm clinging.
Oh, to the rock.
How can I stop singing?
Oh, to the rock.
I'm clinging to the rock now.
Oh, to the rock, hear me sing. My life flows on in endless song. How can I keep from singing? No storm can shake my inmost calm. How can I keep from singing? My life flows on in endless song. How can I keep from singing? No storm can shake my inmost calm. How can I keep from singing? How can I keep from singing? How can I keep from singing? Thank you.
Oh, it just makes you want to join in and sing right along with them, doesn't it? Thank you so much to our Voices of Unity Quartet. Lovely to have you here. So we take a moment to bless our love offerings. Oh, Divine Oneness, we are so much in gratitude for all that this service has held, for these tithes and love offerings that we've received, and for the blessing that they are to our community here at Unity of Tustin and beyond. And so it is. Amen. Once again, just a couple of friendly reminders. Our prayer chaplains will be at the entrance to the meditation gardens to hold any of you in prayer. We also have a prayer box, so you can submit a written prayer request if that's more comfortable for you. Again, we're going to have that ushers meeting over in the sanctuary. We have some hospitality out on our table. Our bookstore is open, and Shara will be also in the sanctuary at 12:45 to have her Sunday salon. So as we do bring our service to a close, now let's say together our prayer for protection. Together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. God bless you.